Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Have you ever used anything that requires uh, an AI? It's becoming more and more commonplace in this day and age. Okay, I wonder how many times I'm going to hit that today. This is something that it's a reality now. Okay, it's not like it was in the 80s where we were watching these different movies. And I'm talking about the Terminator movies, the Matrix movies. In the early 2000s, iRobot. Maybe that was even sooner. But the fact of the matter is we have this system now that is, I really hate to say it, it is replacing a lot of the small, simpler jobs that we've taken for granted. And I don't know about you. I was born in '74. I have one. There was an older cartoon out. I believe it was out in the '60s called the Jetsons. Okay, and the Jetsons were it was actually out for quite a while. Okay, they did. I believe they were doing reruns like up into the '80s of it. You were watching the world of the Jetsons, and you had the flying cars. Everybody had a robot made. So artificial intelligence was kind of almost being promoted back then as being something just to kind of replace household chores. You had uh, little robots that did the sweeping, robots that fed the dog, robots that prepared food for you, um, you know, video communication. And that was something that was in the Jetsons. This was back in the '80s when I was watching these cartoons as a kid. That was just mind blowing. Wow, you can communicate with somebody and see their face from around the world or in another planet. Okay, these are things we only imagined, and now it's a reality today. So some of the things I want to talk about is jobs that are really in the process of disappearing because of AI, or they're highly in danger of being replaced. Okay, one is data entry. Data entry is they're collecting all the information, particularly for a company, and basically they're doing the charts, and the graphs, and the spreadsheets to this is what the different information shows. Okay, I know very little about data entry other than what I've had some friends tell me. Which was basically you were collecting information. Usually on for a company, it was like on a quarterly basis, and their jobs were throughout the quarter to collect all this information and then place it on spreadsheets, place it in graphs, and report to the CEOs and say, "This is what the data shows." That is starting to go away now. That is something that is being replaced by AI or these different programs that exist to where you can just put in your information, and what it will do is it just categorizes it and tell you what's going on. We have this I have the Every Dollar app on my phone to help me with budgeting and to help me with what my finances. And I'm assuming this is not just on the Every Dollar app, but on other financial apps that people use for budgeting, where you'll categorize your finances. It'll show you where your money is going. How much are you paying on your housing? How much are you paying on electricity? How much are you paying for fuel? Uh, Gas for the car payments, car repairs, repairs to your dwelling, just everything, your food, going out. It's showing you how much you're spending each month. Okay. So with that right there, it's it's in a way, it's a form of data entry on a very personal level. And a lot of companies, they're starting to do away with these data entry specialists because why should we pay, okay, let's just say $100,000 a year for somebody to punch numbers into a bank account, into a computer, when we could do it automatically. Yeah, I'm outside and there's a bee. I'm sorry, guys. For the cheek. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are gonna love that. Number Another job that's starting to go away is customer support or call center jobs. And I've known a lot of people that was a great, if you were having a hard time trying to find a job, Um, this was a great job to have, something that you can, especially in Texas. When I lived in Lubbock, Texas, there was a big call center there for AT&T. I think there was maybe one or two other call centers, but there was a big one, and it was for AT&T. And what happened was people would go, it was handling customer complaints, handling customer concerns, and that's what the whole job was. Okay, so but I'm learning more and more, and that's, of course, I haven't been in Texas in well over 10 years. So yeah, we're 2015, yeah, almost 10 years. Is when I moved away and came back to Vermont. So I don't know if that call center is still there. I don't know what's going on, but a lot of that job is being slowly removed by AI. And I want you to think for just a moment. One of the experiences that I've been having is calling something as simple as that's something as simple as the pharmacy. Okay. And just wanting to call, it could be some insurance concerns, and it's hitting the button, trying to get them to get me to a person, somebody that who can actually handle the problem, and not something with a computer. Because time is money, and we're wasting time going from having to punch one for this or punch two for that, and it just takes forever. Whereas I go directly to a person, I can tell them, okay, this is the issue I'm having, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I need. Sir, we got it for you. We can handle this for you. Okay. So, I mean, that is just one area. There was a while ago, a few months ago, I had a problem with Amazon, and with this issue that I was having, I really needed to talk to a human being. I really, really, and they sent me over to their chat, and that was so annoying. I'm trying to text what my problem is, and it just, things weren't happening. I tried calling the 800 number, and the 800 number, that was just frustrating. And customer service, they're starting to go more and more to an AI automated system. Basic accounting. This is especially if you have a small business, this is something to really be thinking about and considering, because your basic accountants, like I've always known small stores. Years ago, back in the early 2000s, I worked at a small grocery store that was owned by one of the elders in the church that I was attending. They actually had an outside accountant, but now what I'm starting to see now with people who have small businesses, those little accountants, that they're just handling their everyday business, like what the pay is, and what's going in and what's coming out. It's really being handled by different programs now. If you think about it, even if I go to a small business, most of everything is done by a computer. Even I don't think I've been to a store recently, a small business, where it was purely, something was not automated. Okay. I stopped by a snack bar last night. I'll tell you what it is. It was A&W, and yes, they're still around. And I don't think they had any automation, because they were not taking credit cards. That place has never taken a credit card, and I know very few places that do. Okay, so with that being said, most stores anymore, they are taking. It's all computerized. That means their inventory is all computerized. So what they can do is they make a sale. That is calculated. When they bring in inventory, that is calculated. They know what's there. They know what's on the shelf. The big stores, Walmart, Target, your big chain grocery stores, they have this system in place, and that computer knows more about what's on the shelf than actual people. This is something that they're doing more and more, is in the retail world, is they are, or should I say any business, they are, instead of hiring a CPA for thousands of dollars, maybe $1,000 a month or more, what they're doing is They're just having these simple programs like QuickBooks, who is managing everything for them. Okay. Number 4 is the retail cashiers or food service cashiers. That's starting to go away. Now, most restaurants, they have not replaced anything with AI. You still have a person. You still have the waiter or the waitress that comes up to your table, give you your menu, and what they're supposed to do is give you the best service possible so you can give them the biggest tip possible. When you're going into places like McDonald's, McDonald's is the biggest one that I can tell you right now, where they got the kiosks. So yes, you can go up to the register. Eventually somebody will come up and take your order, but mostly you have to go up to the kiosk and order your food. Okay, they'll print out you you print out the receipt, and they'll just call your number. Or if you're going to stay there, you've got this little table flag, whatever it's called. You go over, you sit down, it has the number on it, and they'll walk it out to you. And that's what's going on there. Several gas stations in this area of particular chains, they are going to kind of a similar thing. You have a person who is behind the counter, but that's mostly in case something goes wrong with the computer or somebody needs cigarettes or a tobacco product, and they'll get them the tobacco product, or they need to verify somebody's age. And that's about where it is. Other than that, it is a self-service checkout, and you go in, you get your soda, you walk up, you scan it, and you put your money in. Okay, you got next to no interaction with the person behind the counter unless the two of you are cracking jokes. Okay, that's what's going on there. Another thing that is going on is you got the supermarkets now where they have the self-checkout. To me, self-checkout is okay if I'm going in for 1 or 2 items. The problem is you get in there, if it's a long line, if the registers that are open and they have long lines, you are dealing with some people who they got a full shopping cart. Guess what they're doing? They are using that self-service kiosk to check out. Walmart's and Kmart and Targets, it's kind of the same thing. They have the self-checkout area. Hardly any registers open, and you go in and you scan your items. Part of the deal is being able to go in and ask somebody's backing your stuff for you, and that interaction, especially if you have questions, and there's usually one person for 4 or 5 kiosks. Okay, so that is something that is happening now today. So these jobs are disappearing. And another one that is disappearing ever so slowly, nowhere near as fast as the other 4 that I just talked to you about. Oh, but going back to number 4, because the two of these are going to be intertwined. I remember years ago when I was driving truck, I started going into Flying J's, and I remember they had the 4 self-checkout lines. Well, truck drivers, we are notoriously stubborn. We had this whole long line going to the one cashier. And I just remember it was like a manager or assistant manager or perhaps another employee trying to get everybody to use the new self-checkout. And we didn't want to. Okay, we wanted, we're out on the road for days at a time, and we want the human interaction. Okay, sometimes that cashier behind the register for us, that might have been the only true human interaction we would have until maybe we got home or until we got to the depot. So, yeah, that was something that was starting up in truck stops. I haven't been in a truck stop in several years, and I'm kind of eager to maybe on one of my trips here in the near future, stop at a truck stop and just see what exactly is going on in that area. So, since we're on the talk about trucking and transportation, guess what? The 5th job that's actually out there that is actually going to be affected by AI is transportation. I kid you not. Transportation is being affected by this. And we've heard this story for years, for many, many years. I believe I was still in driving truck, and this is going back 2015 or before. I actually stopped driving in 2016 because my kids wanted to live with me and not their mom. So I actually gave up driving truck at that time. But it was during the years before we were starting to hear stories and reports about automated, self-driving automated semi-trucks. And this is a horrifically scary thing. The person behind that wheel has to know what is going on at all times. And now most trucks today, they're having all these little sensors in the front of the truck, on the sides of the truck, that they are recording what the traffic is around you, what the conditions are around you. And it's, it's almost, it's in a way, it's affecting the judgment of the truck driver. The truck driver knows how that truck works. It knows what it can do. But in the event somebody gets too close to you, somebody cuts off in front of you, and it starts picking up that, oh, you're too close to the car, it'll start automatically braking. And I've heard horror stories of these trucks. They're driving in adverse conditions, and the next thing you know, for whatever reason, maybe it's the weather, does something to blind these sensors, and it thinks that it's in trouble, and it's trying to overcorrect, and accidents are happening. So this is something that, I'm sorry, I got to get down here. This is something very concerning that it's going to be several more years in the making before we start seeing fully automated trucks. Now, what I'm talking about, fully automated trucks, is what you saw in the movie Logan. In that movie, there was a future where there was these self-driving semi-trucks, and that was all it was. There was no one in there. They just had the trailer, take the trailer, zip off. And that's what they were doing. So that is an industry that is right now being affected by AI, either by new technology being put into the trucks, or in a future mode where these trucks are being fully automated and no need for a person in there. Okay, but in the meantime, if you are a truck driver and you're watching this and you are worried about AI, you hate AI, you're not a fan of it, hey, just remember that this is going to be several more years in the making, even if it ever gets there. So your job is still safe. It's going to be safe for several more years, and hopefully it will never be taken over. But there are some other jobs that are in danger, and I'm going to go way over because I want to get this done, because I'm not even halfway through. So I'm going to speed it up for you. There are some other jobs that are still, they're in danger. They're not completely being removed, but they're about to. Okay. One is paralegal. That is somebody who goes and assists lawyers and attorneys in their job. They are AI starting to prove where it can actually sort out laws and case loads for lawyers to, before court, and to know if there is actually a case. Journalism or content creating, it is getting to where we pretty much have a system in place where AI can actually, when events are being recorded, that it can actually pull together a news story. And even content creating, in a way, it's almost kind of a scary thing that somebody can go onto something like ChatGPT, and in ChatGPT, what they can do is just put in one or two paragraphs, and it can write out the entire story of what is going on. The other thing that really scares me in this area too, it has already been proven that somebody can, like right now, take a picture of my face, this ugly mug right here. They could take a picture of it, and they can simulate it into other videos and make it look like that I'm at events that I was never at. Okay, that's a frightening thing, that this technology is there. Other jobs is basic graphic design. There are jobs right now that, computer programs, jobs. There are programs right now that are, they're, what their job is like creating logos. I have a logo for this channel. Um, I started opening up a little. I decided since I am off this week, I started up a little Etsy store. But I have some basic graphic design that I was able to use some other programs to create because I don't have thousands of dollars in my disposal to hire somebody to create a logo for me. So we're starting to see these jobs start to disappear. People who can do basic graphic design. Medical transcription is starting to go away with the advent of voice recognition, where somebody can actually, instead of typing everything in, they can actually verbally say it and it gets transcribed automatically, voice to text. Okay, that's not just for text messaging, it's also for writing and transcribing. So, and another job that's in danger are loan officers or underwriters. And what I want to say is, that those are the people who, like at your bank, at your or or personal loan establishment, there there was a time where I remember going into the bank with my dad about getting a car loan, my first car loan, and it was about the relationship. My dad personally knew the chief loan officer at our local bank. So him and me were able to go in together, and she was able to write me up and say, listen, this is what's going to happen if you don't make the payment. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen to your card. This is what's going to happen to your credit. This is what's going to happen to your dad's credit if you don't do this. Okay? So there was a personal connection there. And that's slowly going away. Now with software that if I go online and I need to apply for a mortgage, see, right now I'm in the process, instead of trying to find another place to rent, I've made the decision I'm going to see what I can do to just buy my own house. I'm going to be living here in Vermont, I figure, for at least another 5 to 10 years. Okay? That is something that I decided to start looking into versus just uh, just renting a house or renting another apartment and having the rent go up every year. I can just go ahead and get myself a house and at least have my mortgage be stable until I decide to sell. Okay, that is something that I'm looking at doing. But right now, with the advent of AI in the financial system, I can go, I'll type in all my information and it will look and see what's available to me. It will look and see, if will I be a good candidate for a mortgage if I can do this. Whereas if I happen to know, like I said, the chief loan officer or somebody in that system who can get me a mortgage, and they knew my circumstances, they knew what I was personally good for, and that I would be good for this, I could probably still go and get a mortgage. But unfortunately, what that will do is systematically filter out anybody who they deem not worthy of having a mortgage, or at least a mortgage with that company. Personal loans are the same. Okay, you are applying for a personal loan for whatever reason. Maybe it's a car repair. Maybe it's or you're trying to make an improvement on your current house, or something like that. And it will, if it deems you worthy or not, it can go away. Whereas at least with a person, you can go and verbally give them your case on what you're doing, and they can maybe they themselves can help you out in trying to locate um, a financial option for you. Okay, but yeah, that is what's going on today, and it's scary. And the sad thing is that these are jobs that, in some ways, they do require a little bit of heart, a little bit of understanding. Okay, uh, but before I get too much into that, like I said, I'm outside. I got wasps flying around. I got mosquitoes flying around. My legs are getting eaten up. So I'm going to be ending this here pretty soon. But there are jobs right now in the realm of AI that are going to be very hard to replace. Okay, one is the trades. Okay, I think right now this is the beauty of trying to get young people to go into the trades. Okay, I kid you not. your plumbing, your electricians, your mechanics. Okay, that is just the top. Your pipe fitters, all these other jobs out here that they are a specialty trade. AI really can't do much. Okay, they can't do it. Other trades, other jobs that are starting to go are going to be very hard to replace is caregiving. I'm talking about your nurses, like your ER nurse, your hospice care nurse, senior care nurse, your child care providers. These people are going to be very hard to replace, okay? Because a robot cannot mimic. They might be able to mimic emotion, but they cannot generate emotion. Another one is pastoral counseling or teaching. Okay, these all require somebody with a bit of true emotion, a bit of true intellect, be able to discern the situation. AI is not there. AI may never be there. AI might be able to handle tasks and negotiate certain tasks, but they will not be able to make a true judgment call. Okay? And these are those jobs I'm listing off right now. Those are jobs where really at the end of the day, they require your heart. They require spirit. They require skill. Things that you can, maybe skills you can program into an AI robot. Unfortunately, it will never have heart. It will never have the spirit. Okay? When we go to work, the majority of us, we're going to work, we have a heart going on. Okay? We are, we have a mindset of being thankful that we got a job. We thank God every day about what it is we're doing, that we can actually, to be able to bring in an income. Okay? And there's a spirit to it. You can go in there and you can interact with your coworkers in a way and interact with management in a way that an AI robot can't do it. Okay, and it's the same with the trade jobs, with nursing. When a robot, or an artificial intelligence being could probably assess the situation and could systematically rule out different causes, different things, but it's not going to have the split second decision in saying, hey, I've actually seen this before, or I've had something come up where this has been an experience that I've had, and I know what to do right now, like that, and know how to handle it and how to prevent it from happening again. This is something that AI can't do. Okay, AI is going to require a collection of data. AI is not going to be able to adjust the situation. Okay, and I don't know about you, but when you're in the skills, when you're in the trade skills situation, a plumber can sit there and go, yeah, that's a little leak, but all of a sudden he can get up in there and realize this is more than a leak, or this leak is in a place that I'm going to have to get creative with. AI is not going to be able to do that, or at least right now. It might be another 50 years before AI can ever get close to that. Okay, it's the same thing with childcare, same thing with nursing, same thing with senior care. AI is not going to be able to mimic the true emotion. AI is not going to be able to give a person who, for whatever reason, their family is not visiting them, is not going to be able to step in and just say, and give them the warmth and the love that they really need. Okay, we don't do that. It does. We as humans can do that. AI can't. AI can mimic it, but deep down in our hearts, we know it's not real. And that is really what we want. We want the real. So there's a lot that AI is never going to be able to replace. Okay. So with that being said, guys, ladies, how about this? If we don't want to lose our jobs, we don't want to be replaced that easily, it's time to start thinking forward and maybe learn some other skills. Okay. Because even AI, they're still going to need someone to program parameters, program, do different, instant repairs, things that an AI robot may not be able to do right away. Okay. And yes, the manufacturing sector is being affected by it. Okay, and that's going to be a totally different video for a different time. And it's time for me to walk away. It's time for me to step off to the side. So let's just pray for our future, pray for the things that are coming, and let's think about what's going on.
I don't feel like ending this without a Bible verse, and I think this is what I'm really going to start focusing on more, is trying to make sure we got, is anytime, no matter what we talk about, I'm going to end it with a Bible verse. Not everything is going to be a Bible study. Listen, if you're worried about AI taking over your job, taking over society, there's a couple things you can do. Go ahead and start looking for extra training, okay? Yes, we're going to the age of AI, but you know what? Someone still needs to maintain the machine. Somebody still needs to make sure, knows how to do the blueprints. Somebody has to be able to tell the machines exactly what the specs are, what they're looking for. So, yeah, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, so there is hope. There are things that you can do that kind of help prolong the need for you to be replaced by AI. But here's a Bible verse for you to think about. And I'm getting attacked by flies now. I got the windows open. I'm being attacked by flies. Isaiah 41:10. You fly, don't bother me. Fear not, I am with you. Be not dismayed, I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Amen to that. Look, AI is terrifying, okay? I've heard everything from people calling it the mark of the beast or tool of the Antichrist. It's progression, okay? I am eager to see what age we could possibly go into past AI. I mean, listen, I came out towards the tail end of the industrial age. Then we came into the digital age. And now we're in the age of AI. So things are progressing faster. I'm eager to see what's going to happen. But let's make this clear. God is on our side. If you see your job is in danger of being taken over by AI, go find some extra training. Figure out how to advance yourself so that you don't have to worry about losing your job. Heck, maybe what's going to happen is by doing that, you'll increase your own income, okay? Maybe you'll be that one person who can help keep the AI running in the company that you work for, okay? Don't be afraid. God is with you, but keep up the good fight. God bless all of you. See you on the next one.